Welcome back to MIPtalk, conversations with the world's most interesting people. We're here with one of the world's most interesting people, Robert Wolcott. He's from the Kellogg School of Management. He specializes in innovation management and strategy. He is also the author of Grow from Within. He's brought up some amazing ideas out here during some of these the plenary sessions, and he was one of the keynote speakers at the summit today. One of the ideas I just got to get back to you on, and it just rolls off the tongue so nicely, is luminiferous ether. Talk to us about luminiferous ether.
Well, luminiferous ether was one of those hypotheses of science, the paradigm that just happened to be abjectly wrong. And what was going on, this was back in the 19th century, so a little bit of history here. Physicists were trying to figure out why, whereas sound cannot travel through a vacuum,
okay,
light can. And so they assumed that sound was traveling through air or something else was the substrate within which it would travel. So therefore, light must have something it was traveling through, and we just can't see it.
Gotcha.
You create a vacuum, light moves through it, so therefore there must be something else there within which it's moving.
And this is?
The luminiferous ether.
Okay.
No one had seen it, no one had any data.
So it never made it past theory?
Well, they were pretty convinced, and they were trying to prove it.
Gotcha.
So there were a number of experiments going on, a couple quite famous experiments, and the results were ridiculous. The results were impossible, according to many of the researchers. And so people retried the experiment, they recalibrated the equipment, they looked through the protocols, they said, we must be doing something wrong, because it can't be that our vision of the universe is wrong.
No, it couldn't be that.
Meanwhile, there's a fellow in the Swiss Patent Office, you might have heard of Albert Einstein, and he happened to read the experiments and realize it's not that the experiments are wrong. The results are right. The experiments are done well. Our vision of the universe is completely wrong.
Wow.
And so partly as a result of that recognition, he developed the special and general theories of relativity.
Now, was this an accepted idea that he was bringing out here?
Well,
or was
no,
he,
of course.
Was he
at the time when he first
burned at the cross or something for his ideas?
At the time when he first recommended it, there was some cross-burning going on. It was less cross-burning by that time and more shock and awe and disbelief that the whole canon...
The gall of this guy
exactly.
to say that luminiferous ether is not a possible.
He was basically challenging Newtonian physics with this notion of the universe. Newton didn't come up with the luminiferous ether, but nonetheless it was the vestige of this Newtonian view of the world. And Albert Einstein stood back and realized, well, the experiments are right. The data that are coming out of the world are telling us something. We need to think differently about the world, and thus was born relativity.
How do you apply that to what's happening today in the business world and some of the topics that you were talking about earlier today?
Well, I'd say whether it's business or your personal life or something you're trying to accomplish, you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. If you have a certain frame of the world and you do something and it turns out very differently than you thought, then you might want to pay attention to it.
Right.
Because that suggests that maybe your vision of the world is wrong in some way. And there could be a great opportunity to innovate, to do something new, to take a different approach to the world. And quite frankly, the stuff that usually happens when someone makes a mistake or it goes differently than you expect, the first reaction is to cover it up and hope no one sees it. Right?
Exactly.
But in that thing you're covering up.
Keep it under the rug.
Exactly. In that thing under the rug could be the most transformative moment of your life.
Right.
So we have to pay attention to
So the lesson is look under the rug.
Pay attention to the unexpected, pick up the rug and look underneath it sometimes.